Years ago, I shot 10 bags of heroin every day. Heroin is a beast, and that beast has infiltrated every town and city in America. In 2016, 64,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose of opioids. I hope that the stories we bring you on this show save lives in 2018. I'm Richie Farrell. I'm a heroin addict.
Hi there, welcome to the show. I'm a heroin addict. My name is Jasmine and I'm a heroin addict. Thank you for those of you who've tuned in. If this is your first time watching, Richie Farrell is usually the host of this show. Richie is out today doing awesome things, helping other people. He certainly will be missed. I'm filling in as the host. I have a beautiful co-host, Maureen, who is going to introduce herself here in just a moment. And our guest today that we will be relentlessly harassing is Arvid. So we're in for a good show. So Maureen, this is your first time on the show.
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to take a moment, because if you guys haven't been watching, you will get to know me if this is your first time. But I've been on the show for quite a couple months now, and the viewers have had an opportunity to get to know me and my story and where I came from and how I came to be sitting in this seat right here today offering hope to others. But if you briefly want to let the audience know where you came from and what qualifies you to be in that seat.
Well, I'm Maureen. I'm a heroin addict. I've been sober for about a year and a half now. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say.
So you've been sober for a year and a half. Okay, all right, fantastic. What are some things that you went through in your active drug addiction? So anyone that's watching this that is struggling or just isn't sure what to do, so they can relate with you.
I've been in and out of treatment for the past 8 years.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
Yeah.
Last 8 years. Holy
Yeah.
cow, 17.
Yes.
Started going to treatment centers
Yes.
at 17. When did you start using?
I think I was about 16 years old. I didn't start with heroin. It progressed after like 17. You know, I always put myself in really bad situations. I got arrested a lot. You know, like I could never keep a job, the whole deal.
All right, and so you're a year and a half sober.
Yep.
That's flipping amazing, because that doesn't happen for a lot of people. You know, and I have the privilege and I have the honor of like knowing you and seeing you in your day-to-day life. So I know that like not only are you a year and a half sober, but like you are like a thriving woman with so much potential, and like you just go out every day and you grab life and you're like, I'm gonna conquer. So how did you get there? Like what happened?
So I know for me, like I, you know, in and out of treatment centers, in and out of sober houses. I don't know. I came to like this point in my life where like nothing was changing. You know, it was only getting worse for me. You know, I came in with nothing. I like when I first got sober, like I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. I hardly had family in my life. And like that's something I had never lost before. Was always their support, and they were pretty much done with me. And like when I came in, I was just like, all right, I'm willing to give whatever a shot. I was like, it's better than nothing. And like I wasn't so sure this whole recovery thing was me, but I was like, it's worth a try.
Yeah, you know, from an outsider looking at you, you're definitely someone that is like striving for success in your day-to-day life. And I know that it's not about those things. And I know that like it's about what's going on internally, but I also know that like you're a really kind, gentle, caring, loving, giving soul. So it's like the best of both worlds. Like recovery is not easy. It's certainly a lot of work.
It is, yeah. It's been a lot of work. You know, I definitely struggle, but like I keep like putting one foot in front of the other. You know what I mean? Like I know it gets better.
Yeah. So I've had the privilege of knowing Maureen. I'm gonna call her Mo because she's Mo to me. So I've had the privilege of knowing Mo and Arvid for a couple years now, which is really cool. It's always an honor to do this show with people that I have been at what I guess I would call like high points in my life and low points in my life with. And I think both of you have seen me at some very low points.
Yeah.
in my life. So if you're watching this show and you're struggling, or you're someone that's struggling to stay clean, or like you can get a little bit of time but you can't really seem to pull it together, that was me. That was me, you know, and these guys witnessed me go through those phases. And recovery is a lot of work on a daily basis, but to me it's worth it. So our guest today is Arvid, which I'm really excited about. I'm also really excited, for some reason, women always want to do the show. So it's really cool when we can get a guy that wants to come and do it. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, like, hello. Like, I know that there's men out there, but I really don't hang out with men. I just hang out with women. So tell your guy friends we need some men to come in on the show.
Okay.
So Arvid, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
So tell myself and let the viewers know a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm 29 years old. You know, I grew up in Manchester, and I was in and out of trouble for a long time. And then I found recovery by the grace of a higher power, I guess, in situational circumstances. And now I've been in recovery for over 2.5 years.
High five. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a miracle for me because I couldn't get a day sober.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't know how.
Did you even believe that you could?
No.
Oh my God, me neither.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
it was
right?
like,
No, not at all. I like laughed at myself
know,
when I got like a year. I was like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. Now.
I don't even keep track of people are like, how much time do you have? I'm like, I don't even know, because it's
Yeah.
just a day. It's like I don't think about using and I don't think about not using. Like I
Right.
just like I show up
Just a
every
regular day, yeah.
try to do the best I can. I certainly fall short, and like that's okay too. So so you said some vague things, so I wanna pick at it here. All right, cool. So you said that you were in trouble a lot.
yes. Yes,
So I was a behavioral addict long before I was ever a drug addict.
Yeah.
I was acting out with behaviors, and I didn't know anything about an internal condition back in that day, and I had no idea what was wrong with me or why I was behaving these certain ways. I mean, certainly now in retrospect, looking back at it, it all makes sense to me now, but going through the motions, I had no idea. Was that like kind of true for you, or did you act out behavioral-wise?
Kind of, not really. Like I guess I misbehaved. I mean,
You can bear it all here. It's okay. It's YouTube.
yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess when I got to high school, that's when things really turned for me. And I started hanging out with people that were doing the wrong thing, and, you know, I just wanted to belong to something.
Okay.
And-
All right. Cool. So a sense of not belonging.
Right,
All right, I can identify with that. I think
Yeah.
probably a lot of our viewers can too.
right.
So that sense of like, I'm not okay, I'm not
Right.
okay. And so you got to high school, and what happened?
Yeah. You know, it's like you talked about, or like you just mentioned, like I wasn't okay with myself. And, you know, I tried to fill it with outside stuff and like friends. And when I got to high school, I saw like the, you know, popular kids hanging out, and they had jewelry and money and pretty girlfriends and nice cars, cool rims. So
I get it. I mean, it makes sense to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wanted to be a part of that, and so I did. I started hanging out with them, and
So something inside of you and it clicked in about high school where you didn't feel as good as other people. Like you needed those things and that validation to be okay in your own skin.
yeah,
When did you find drugs?
like 14, I guess.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. I just remember, like 14, I was doing and selling drugs, and then it was a downhill slope from there.
Okay, so when you were 14 and you can't remember exactly, what was like the first thing that you can remember that you experimented with? Because you weren't like just like, I mean, you could have been, but you weren't 14 like shooting dope.
No.
Okay, so what happened?
I actually, I was like really young, and I went to a wedding with my parents, and I remember we we did the toast, and my dad switched it with like something else, and then my mom came over and she gave me the champagne. So then I just remember drinking that, and I was probably like 10, 12 years old, and next thing you know, I was laying on the table, like rolling around, and I was drunk, and I liked that feeling a lot.
Yeah,
And,
sense of ease and
that night,
comfort.
and I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
Now, did you keep drinking like after that? Like, did you
No,
like continuously drink? Like,
I mean, I was so young, I didn't really have access to it. And then as I got older, like, I guess my dad was always working. My dad had, pet store. And my parents started separating when I was like 13. And it just, like my mom, like this disease runs in my family. Alcoholism and addiction runs in my family. So like my mom was giving me alcohol and other things at a very young age. She wanted to be the cool parent. And so I had alcohol easily accessible. So I was drinking kind of regularly, I guess. And then, like I said, when I got to high school, my mom was out of the picture. And then my dad was always working, trying to run that pet store. And I just gravitated towards people that weren't doing such nice things.
okay, all right.
Hold that thought. Your shirt in the
Oh,
Technical difficulties.
oh boy.
I think that's because it's too tight.
Shirt.
So you
cord-
need to
the
lay
cord
off
was
the
too
gym,
tight.
bro.
Pull your shirt down, then. Okay.
How much weight did you lift today?
A lot.
He's such a nerd.
A little.
I'll just give you a quick countdown.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna embarrass you right now.
Me?
Arvid.
Me?
Okay, I'm going to open up on you. So, 3, 2.
Hi there, welcome back. There were some technical difficulties. Arvid's just a little too swole today. Lifted too much weight at the gym, so it's all right. I get it. I strive for that. I go to the. I was like pumped. I like deadlifted more than I'd ever deadlifted today at the gym. I like started working out with a trainer like it's way off topic, but like a month ago, and I like could like barely deadlift anything. And today I was easily able to do 130.
Nice.
So I'm getting up
That's a
there.
lot.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Don't lie to me.
Don't
Don't lie to me. Yeah, so I'm working on it. But anyways, way off
Yes.
topic. Where were we at? We were talking about
high school a little bit.
high school. Okay, all right, cool. So it's, time flies. We got like 15 minutes left here. So I know. So time flies. So you just didn't feel comfortable in your skin. You grew up in a family and a home where like this behavior was okay. It was kind of cultivated and encouraged a little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
Your words, not mine, but those are mine. Okay. And so being in and out of jail is a huge part of my story. I've done a lot of time in jail, and that's not who I am.
Right.
That's like not who I am, and that doesn't own me. I can say that freely today and just let that go. So, so our viewers can see, like, will you let them know, like, because you're a heroin addict, right?
Yes.
Are you an IV heroin addict?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
So you went from like rolling around on the table at 12 years old, drunk off champagne, like just being a good kid, to like someone who didn't feel comfortable in their own skin, but somehow you ended up an IV heroin addict. And I've heard your story in the past, and
Right.
you've done some pretty serious jail time yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I got arrested the first time when I was 16, and then it's been in and out of jails ever since. 16, 17, again 19, 20, 22 or 23, and it just, I wasn't able to stop because at some point I used to like to have fun and drink and party with my friends, and at some point I crossed this line. And like my friends would like stop at the end of the night or whatever early in the morning, and I wouldn't, like I'd keep going. And I later learned as I entered recovery that, you know, I have what I like to call, or what people like to call, an allergy to drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
So like I react differently to drugs and alcohol than normal people.
It's really hard to explain that to normal people.
Yes.
They don't get it.
So,
they're like, no, like you don't have to crash and burn your life to the ground. You're like, no, I literally don't have another
Like,
choice.
I kind of want to almost. You know?
People are like, what's wrong with you? You're crazy.
You know,
and
when
you're
the
like,
day I'm
actually-
struggling, I'm like, I literally want to, like, end my life. Like, not even end it, but just, like, bring it to, like, a crash and burn.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't either.
You're like, I don't either. Okay, right. So you lost all control.
Yes.
So you're 2.5 years sober now.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you? Because like I know you, and you do a lot to help the men in this community.
Yes.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
You know, because that's really what it's about. I know for me at one point in time, like I was hopeless. I didn't think that I could make it. And there was a group of women that were always there for me. And no matter how many times I messed up, I have done some ridiculous things in sobriety.
Yeah.
And like those people were still there for me. And they were like, that's not okay, but we still love you.
Yeah.
You know, and I see you doing that for men. So
Yes.
how did you get from like that hopeless person in and out of jail, like this is my identity, I've accepted this, almost wore it as like a badge of honor, to like a man who like has his own place and like has all these things going and is like, oh, like you're here today, okay, in your own skin,
Right.
right? Like how did you get there?
Well, like I said, in and out of jail, got in a lot of trouble, and then circumstances brought me to this life. I got in a lot of trouble again, and I was looking at serious time. Mm-hmm. And I was given the option to go to treatment or jail or prison. And you know, I gave treatment a try, which I've tried many times before. And for some reason, I gave it an honest shot. And like the difference this time is like I went to aftercare. Like I did long-term treatment because I've been shooting heroin for over 10 years. It's going to take more than 30 days to get out of that, you know? And all the behaviors and everything else that I learned throughout my addiction, it just, I had to unlearn those. And like I had to, like you said, like I help a lot of people today because like that's where I find happiness, and that's what helps me keep going. Because for a long time I was living wrong, and I was taking, selfish, self-centered to the core. And like I didn't care about anybody. All I cared about was me, like how I'm gonna get high, how I'm gonna stay high, or like I didn't care about anything because I was sick. I was sick in the mind, and like I had
And in the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a dirty soul.
yeah, and I had untreated heroin addiction.
Yeah.
And it just looks like mayhem for me. Mm-hmm. So then I gave that long-term treatment like a chance this time. Like I actually followed through with it, and I tried things that I was very uncomfortable with, and like I learned to be a productive member of society, and like actually giving
I don't
back.
believe it.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
According to who? No, that's great. You really are. I'm just giving you
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, we know. But
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So you said like get uncomfortable, and like I know that that's something that's like really foreign to me, and that I mean that's something that still today like I will struggle with. I will fight something tooth and nail with like every ounce of my being, and then it'll get to a point where I just have to like surrender to it and be like, oh, all right, whatever, this is happening. And then once it happens, it's like, oh, this is actually better than what I was doing. Like who would have thought? But it's like embedded in me, you know what I mean? I guess it's like that fight or flight thing in our brain. Like this is comfortable, this is safe, we know this,
Right.
but it's so hard for me to step outside that.
Right. And that's something I had to learn to do, because my comfort zone was being in jail or getting high in bad, dangerous places, you know, like sitting in the trap house and doing crazy stuff. Like that's where I was comfortable. And like I wasn't used to this life, like of like happiness. And like I said, like it starts with like being a productive member of society and like giving back.
What does that look like for you? What is a productive member, right? Because like I don't know, everyone's like, what a productive member of society to me is probably like something that looks different than you guys. So what does that look like for you? Like what do you do?
You know, I work.
Okay.
I pay taxes now.
Okay,
What?
you work, you pay taxes.
You know, I help out in the community. I belong to a 12-step fellowship
Okay.
program.
Okay.
And it gives me a chance to help other people that were in my shoes. So people that are struggling with addiction and other issues, I can, you know, I've been there, I've done that, like I get it. So I get to help them now go from rock bottom and turn their lives around and show them like how I did it. And it's an amazing experience. And it's given me a sense of purpose. And, you know, it truly is. It's an amazing feeling. And it's like, I was miserable when I was using. Like towards the end of my run, I woke up every day, and I wanted to die, like more than anything. When I got clean and sober, I learned to laugh, and like I found true happiness, and like this peace of mind that I didn't know existed. I didn't know this way of life was possible.
The voices go so much.
It's so funny how like we talk about like what a productive member of society, and it comes back to like our internal. You know what I mean? But like it has nothing to do with our job, our car, like our place. It doesn't. You know, it's so funny how we do that. Like we talk about like our internal condition more than anything.
Well, yeah, if the voices in my head are going 1,000 miles an hour, I'm not showing up.
Right.
I'm not. I'm just listening to them.
Yeah, but if you talk to like a normal person, they'd be like, you know, a productive member of society like goes to work. Like we're like that aside.
Yeah. That's second here.
And yeah, you know, like I'm a productive member of society. What does that mean? That means we give back to society instead of taking.
I think that's awesome.
You
Especially for someone like you who has taken so much from society.
Right.
I feel like sometimes, actually, I shouldn't say sometimes. I am really grateful that I had such lows in my recovery.
Me too.
Because for me, that means that like I have to take this really serious every day.
Right.
You know, and like I have been fortunate enough to make it out of things that a lot of people haven't. Right. But in return, that means that I owe the universe a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
And I do my very best to fulfill that. And I'm not perfect, and like I fall short, and that's okay. It's like okay that I fall short sometimes. Like I'm not beating myself up over it either. It's like okay, like learning curve.
Right.
And you learn from it, and you just keep moving. So you like talked about like giving back and helping people out. And so I want you to look right into that camera. And if there is someone watching that's struggling, what would you say?
I would say that recovery is possible, and there's a better way of life out there, and there's plenty of help out there. You just have to reach out, and you know, this is a big reason why we're doing this, to raise awareness, to help people. You know, the life that I have today is so amazing, and I'm truly blessed, and anybody can have this life. All you got to do is ask for help. That's where it all starts.
That was beautiful. That was so good. Yeah, that was perfect, right? That is where it all starts too, is like asking for help and like then like trusting someone to help you.
Which is actually harder than it seems. Trusting somebody when you first come in or you first try to get sober or clean. And like you have to like just be able to like have some faith in that person. You're like, hopefully they'll keep my secrets.
Yeah, community's huge.
Yeah.
You had talked about like so for you did like the long-term aftercare, and like the truth is those options aren't available for everyone.
Right.
They're not. Like you were really fortunate. Mo was really fortunate. I was so blessed.
Right.
Yeah.
To get scholarship to a facility that like carried me all the way through.
Right.
And that's the amazing thing about these self-help groups. I mean, you find someone that has what you want, and you follow what they do.
Yeah.
And you learn to live a better life, and it's free.
Right.
It's free. Like, it doesn't cost any money. The treatment part is great, and it's, you know, if you can afford it and you can do it that way. If not, like I said, there's help out there, and it doesn't cost any money. And you grab someone that's doing the right thing, and you stick with them, and then you learn to do the right thing too.
Yeah, I imagine watching this show, you look at Maureen and you look at Arvid and you look at myself, and hopefully we look fairly put together. I'm not sure.
Probably not.
But it's hard to believe that, like, about 2 years ago, I mean, I was homeless, right? 2 years ago, Mo was a mess. Yeah, right? And so watching this show, it's probably pretty hard to believe, but, like, the three of us have had the honor and the privilege of seeing one another that way.
Right.
And so, like, watching this show, you might not realize the impact of that, and that you can really overcome this. And if you keep coming around long enough, like, and hanging out with people who are doing the next right thing, and hanging out with people who have a desire to want to get well, and hanging out with people who really want to overcome their drug addiction and be a decent human being, you are going to see people light up.
Right. Yeah.
You are going to see their souls on fire, and you are going to want what they have.
Yeah, your life definitely changes once you, like, give it a shot.
Your motives change.
Yeah.
What you're looking for out of things change. So before we went live, I was like telling Mo that, like, you know, like, my life's been pretty good the last couple days because, like, I get scheduled nap times.
So amazing.
I know, it's like so cool. I was like, yeah, I took a nap today. It was really cool. But, like, that would have never been, like, self-care was never important to me before.
Right.
Ever. And, like, today's self-care is so important, and I would have never gained that insight or awareness if I didn't surround myself with a community of strong individuals who practice self-care and led that.
Right.
Right.
You know, when I work with newer women, like, I'm always like, be careful of the company you keep.
That's the first thing I always say.
Yeah.
Because I know when I came in was that, like, that's what I needed. I didn't know how to do life. Like, I didn't know that, like, people, like, get up for work on time, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you have to get up on time, maybe even early. You know what I mean? And, like,
Put
take a
yourself
shower
together.
and put a makeup on. I was like, what? That's crazy. But, like, that was, like, my reality. Like, I did not know. So, like, learning that from another, like, strong woman, like, and, like, watching them do it, it's like, okay, I can do that, you know?
So mentorship's huge, connection's huge, getting vulnerable, just, like, admitting that you need help is huge. You know, this show's just, like, really about hope. And I'm really fortunate because I'm able to, like, work with hopeless people a lot. And it's just, like, it brings you back there, and you literally, like, when I'm working with them and I can just feel their pain, like, my inside's just like, oh, God, like, that hurts. And it's just like,
your soul hurts a little bit.
Yeah, but it just makes me want to keep doing what I'm doing.
Right.
For me.
Yeah. And, like, doing that, like, it eventually brings you, like, into this, like, beautiful spot in your life, you know? So, yeah.
So, Arvid, we're almost out of time.
Jesus.
I know.
It goes by so quick.
It really does. I told you guys it'd go by so quick. So what do you want to end the show with? I mean, your life's pretty good today, right? And you told someone, like, if they need help, reach out.
Right.
Yeah. What is the biggest thing that you have going for yourself in your life today? In 20 seconds, go.
I have a life today.
You have a life today.
I do. You know, I'm in school working towards a degree.
That's amazing.
I have a full-time job, and, like, they pay me and I show up. It's a crazy concept.
I love that they pay you.
And you know, I do healthy things. I go to the gym. I have friends that I can count on today that actually care about me and want me to do well and nothing else. I'm truly blessed to have this life. I mean, I really.
I'm gonna shut you down. That's awesome.
All right.
That's really good. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Mo and Arvid, for being here. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. My name is Jasmine, and I'm a heroin addict. If you're just tuning in, welcome. If you've been here with us all along, thank you. So Richie Farrell is not here with us today. He's out doing something entirely different, but super awesome, and I'm kind of jealous, but that's okay. We have the beautiful Maureen Preston filling in as the co-host. Hi, Mo.
Hi.
So we have a really good show here for you, and we have a really awesome Skype guest, which I'm excited for. I've been talking to Marty, to arrange this for Marty? What have we been talking for? Like almost a month now?
Yeah, absolutely, a month for sure.
Because I can't see Marty on any screens. I can't see you, but I'm waving at you, Marty. Hi.
You can see me. That's how we're gonna engage.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So Marty, this is your first time being on the show, and to be honest, I would like to get you back here again too, because I follow you and I see that you're doing like really awesome things out there. So first of all, why don't you take a minute to let the viewers know just like a little bit about you, who you are, where you came from, and some of the awesome things that you're doing with your life and your recovery today.
Are we wanting to go through the whole thing here, or?
Well, unfortunately we're so limited on time. We got approximately 25 minutes and 39 seconds. Go.
All right. All right. Well, to go ahead and give you some credentials. My name is Marty Norman. I am in long-term recovery. I have been clean and sober since July 1st, 2014. That is 100% clean and sober without any mind-altering substances. That means that was the day that I started to live.
Yeah.
All right. To give you a little more, I'm a man who has 7 felonies. I have 4 DUIs. I've spent a total of around 6 years in prison and in jails. I started shooting dope my first time when I was 22 years of age, which was 17 years ago. And I fell in love. I'm an all-around kind of junkie. I fell in love with the needle. I didn't so much. It's everything. I fell in love with meth. Was my first love, I think. It was through a lot of years of hardcore drinking, crack use, and then eventually it led into heroin addiction. I guess I can start from the beginning. I grew up in this, man. I grew up in the madness. I grew up in the violence. I grew up, my parents were, not to take their inventory or anything, but they were addicts. They were alcoholics. They loved the chaos and everything that came with that. So I grew up basically striving for attention. I didn't have much attention at home. I was kind of, I was on the poverty level. So therefore I went to school with hand-me-downs and broken shoes, and I got made fun of a lot. I didn't have any, my self-worth was down, I didn't feel good about myself. I got made fun of. I got picked on. I moved around a lot. It was just really hard to connect with anybody when you're an outsider. And I always felt like an outsider. I always felt different from everybody in the classroom. Kids are mean. I won't be honest. Kids are mean. Kids out there, you guys are mean.
Yeah, they are vicious and ruthless.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book right now about my journey and my story. No, it's called Abstinence, from a drug-infested den, because Donald Trump said that New Hampshire is the drug-infested den. But a big part of it, talking about my youth, is how I was bullied by all these kids. My story very similar to yours. I grew up in this. Like, I grew up poor. I didn't have things. And like, kids made fun of me. They tortured me. My little brother, he got tortured. He was overweight because he had to have his thyroids removed, and they would throw, like, little Debbie snacks at him. Kids are mean.
Oh, wow.
I don't even like kids because of it.
You have kids, Marty.
I don't like them. I love you guys. You guys know that. But here's what happened. I mean, here's the combination, just everything how it went is basically I grew up like that. I grew up never feeling a part of. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin, and later I found out that I was restless, irritable, and discontent. I couldn't get along with people. I slowly found out that if I made kids laugh, they kind of liked me. So I that's how I got my attention. That's how I got I was a troublemaker in class. What ended up happening was my mom, she left me, this is a woman, I grew up in that chaos where there was constant abuse from both sides. They were beating each other up all the time, late night fights, never got any sleep. 3 a.m. I'd get woke up and I'd have to go to school. Of course, it was just chaos. There was people partying in the house at all times. So what ended up happening was it was a normal day. my mom ended up taking my brother and sister and leaving, and like left me there in that chaos. So I grew up instantly. I didn't really know it at the time, but I had a hatred for women at that time. I had a hatred for mothers.
I just need to interrupt you. I feel like you were the male version of me. I swear to God, going into high school, I came home from school to an empty house, and my mom took my brother and everything in the house and left. Like, who are you? You're the male version of me in the universe.
She didn't like it, did she? No?
She loves me. She loves me. She was just dealing with her own stuff.
We weren't lovable kids. Just admit it.
Really, so, it's been a really hard time getting over that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it put a chip on my shoulder to where, I had an excuse now. I had an excuse to act out in class. If you had my life, then you would do what I'm doing. And I had this huge chip on my shoulder, which made me even more mean and more violent and more excuses and more reasons, more rationalizations, all these things, right? But what it ultimately, and I hated my father growing up with him. I hated him. I couldn't stand him. He was a drunk. He was abusive. He was mean. He would do things, it would embarrass me. Like I never could bring kids home from school because I never knew what kind of situation I would come into. It was just embarrassing. And what ultimately ended up happening is I became my father. I became the drunk. I became the junkie. I became the abuser. I became a lowlife who couldn't hold a job or do anything productive with his life. You know what I mean? I became that.
Isn't that funny? Growing up, I was like, I'm never going to be like my mom. Ever. No. I was like, I hate her. I never want to be like her. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching, I love you. My mom and I have repaired and mended our relationship. But growing up, and I literally ended up exactly like my mother.
I did too. And I made a video not too long ago I was talking about kind of like that. And I had to go back and call my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm sorry, man. But, it was the truth. But, maybe you shouldn't have told your story. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm a liar by nature. Fact. So I had my own place. I got to party, got to do what I want. I sold a little bit of drugs. I became really popular that way. I had my own place at 15. So it was a party house. Long story short, I kept getting arrested, kept going to jail, it's a typical story we all have, right? Things got really bad. Addiction hadn't set in quite yet until I was 22, and I ended up shooting up methamphetamines for the first time. I shot up anything, and I fell in love. I didn't really get into my first drink and how that backtrack just a little bit, then we'll get into what's happening now, because that's the important part, right? Mm-hmm. Like I was 10 years old with a babysitter. For some reason, I had a babysitter, and she took me to a party and got me drunk, and it became the cool thing to get the little kid drunk, and I became the life of that party. Like I was dancing on the tables, everybody was laughing at me, everybody was having fun. I was the center of attention, and suddenly I had no fears, I had no insecurities, I had no self-worth issues. I was the popular kid of that party. Mm-hmm. And I went home that night and I woke up and I didn't have a hangover, but what I did have was an epiphany that I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is my solution. This is God to me, and that's what I wanted to go back and get that, because that was very important, that I found a solution. Because I was irritable, I was restless, I was discontent, I didn't feel good, I had insecurities, and all of a sudden I took a drink and it was all gone. It was all washed away, and I became a cool kid. And that's what I always wanted, right? Right. So I'll tell you about that first shot of methamphetamines. I took it, I fell in love with it. I was with my brother Brian, which was crazy because him and I shot up for the first time together. We eventually parted ways and we did our own thing, but we're back together now, you know what I mean? And we get to share recovery. We get to help others, but it's crazy that we shot up for the together. That life of violence just led on for a lot of years until I was, there was a time I was at this house party and I had this crazy girlfriend because I just attracted the best women available.
It was always them though, right? Never you.
Oh, no, it was definitely them, Yeah,
I get it. Same. Yeah.
But she came to the house. It got really crazy. Fight broke out. She was beating up this other girl. I had been such a person. Yeah. I was innocent. I was innocent.
I believe
It sounds
you.
good.
Yeah.
But what had happened was I got into it with this guy who was trying to break up the girl fight and then pull me off. Anyway, I got bashed in the head with an aluminum baseball bat like 3 times, and I ended up in ICU. And I was in ICU. I was in a coma for 4 days, and I had to stay in intensive ICU. I had to stay in ICU for the next 2 weeks. I had to learn how to talk again. I had to do all these things. I couldn't barely walk. I just didn't know where the hell I was. I knew what I wanted to say, but the words wouldn't come out my mouth. So I had to go through all this therapy. What had happened was that's where I developed my first opioid, first real opioid addiction. You know, and I got out and I got on the streets again, and the prescriptions ran out, of course, you know, because I didn't need them anymore. So I started going to street pharmacists. I found this lady who's got 190 of them, and every month or however much it was, and I bought all of those, and that's where my addiction really set in and really got dirty and really got, you know, it went from fun and having fun to the party lifestyle to, oh crap, I need this. You know, I need this to function. So not too long afterwards, I went to prison. I went to prison for like my 4th DUI or something like that, and fleeing and resisting and all these things, right? You know, stuff normal people do. And I went to prison and I got hooked on heroin. Heroin was so readily available in the prison that I went to in the state of Indiana that, you know, I went there and I thought, man, I could do time here. This is all right, you know? So then I got addicted, and because it was just everywhere, and I was doing things, and I was doing things on the streets, and I'm not going to get into all that because we're pressed for time, but I had this in my head that when I get out, I'll be able to go back to meth like a normal person, right? That's what I seriously thought that. Like I'm sick all the time. I feel like crap. I'm going to get out. I'm going to kick it, and I'm going to go back to my lifestyle, you know, back to the good old meth lifestyle, because it was so amazing. When I got out, when I got out, heroin was everywhere on the streets. Everybody that was doing meth before was doing heroin now, and so that didn't work out. That didn't work out at all. So long story short, we're going to get to the good stuff, guys. I ended up in a trap house in Terre Haute, Indiana. Come to get a bag of dope, and just come up here with a friend to get a bag of dope, and I was going to ride with him because he didn't know the cats and he didn't want to go up in there alone, so I rode with him. I ended up staying there for a couple of months because I knew the guys, and I stayed in the house for a couple. I'm talking, it's the bed bug infested, cockroaches, broken bottles, needles at every crevice of the house type trap house, right? I slept in the closet on a pile of dirty bed bug infested clothes when I slept, of course, and it's almost like a God thing now because looking back, it happened to be about 4 or 5 blocks from a sober living. And I would have to walk by this sober living every day to get to liquor store. Long story short, I ended up in that sober living. I did well for 11 months. I thought I did great. I put the Band-Aids on. I got the shower. I got the girlfriend. Everybody around the rooms loved me. You know, it was great. I did everything besides what they suggested that I do, and that's do the program or a program. Or, you know, I talk about, I would go to these meetings and I would go around these tables and I talk a good game, but all it was lies because I thought to myself, I feel good. Why would I need to work a program? I feel great. I got the good job. I got a girlfriend who likes me, you know. I got her around the room and she had like 20 days clean. I don't know, but she liked me.
Oh.
That ended badly. I spent 11 months in that recovery home. I went back out, and it got really, really bad to where, you know, the heroin, the Suboxone, the pills, the cocaine, and the whiskey. Oh, my God, the whiskey was bad. You know, I chugged it to get out of bed in the morning. I slept on the streets. I slept behind bars. I dated bartenders so I'd get free drinks. I had a moment that a friend died in the back seat. We had to bring him back to life. He overdosed in the back seat, and that was a scary moment. And, you know, we barely got him back to life, and people were dying all around me. I got into this fight in a bar over a $50 game of pool. I hit the guy. He's fine now, by the way, but he got lifelined to Indianapolis where I thought I had killed somebody. And that was the moment where I got really scared and I got back into recovery. I had to go to the hospital. I spent some time in the hospital because I didn't have insurance. I didn't have no resources. So I spent a little time in detox in the hospital. I got back into a sober living where I began to really Oh, well, first off, I had to do a year in the jail, a year in the county jail because of the guy that I got in a fight with. So I did a year in the county, but this time it was different. I really got into the books. I really got into the literature. I really got into me. I started becoming really self-aware. I wasn't playbabying around with all the other guys in the jail. I became the old school guy, and I don't know how that happened. You know, there's a bunch of 19-year-old kids in there. But that's when I got really serious. I got out. I got me a sponsor. I started working through everything. I started becoming really self-aware. Things had opened up for me. I got really something happened. I was posting things on Facebook. I was helping people, you know, a couple of years later, I was posting things on Facebook. I was helping people get into treatment centers and detoxes and hospitals and halfway houses. And it just grew and grew and grew. I started doing all this. And the next thing you know, a lady comes to me who her son had overdosed and died. And we had been talking for a couple months, and she blessed me with the opportunity to purchase a house. It was a nice big 5-bedroom house. It's beautiful, right? She said, I want you to buy it for what I owe. I want you to do something for addicts with it. I want you to do something for alcoholics with it. I want you to do something. And I was just like, bam, yes. Me and my brother, Brian, man, we got together. We put our heads together. We formulated a plan. We wrote a letter of intent. We wrote a mission statement. We wrote rules. We wrote regulations. We wrote the program. We did it all in like a month. We got it all together because I knew I'd been to many halfway houses. I had been to many treatments. Brian had too. So we knew what was good. We knew what was bad. And we took the good and we put our stuff and we put our spin on it. And we created a world. And we created a world to where this had started. And next thing you know, I'm still posting. I'm still helping people. And I get a job offer. I get a job offer from an amazing I met this guy named James Sweezy. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. We were doing the same things on social media. And the next thing you know, we start working together. I get a job offer, and now I'm an outreach coordinator for All In Behavioral Health. We got 3 different locations, one in Florida, one in New Jersey, and one in Pennsylvania. And these are great facilities, nationally accredited facilities. They're really good. I love it. I wouldn't work for anyone else because in the process of sending people to different facilities, before I had resources or before I knew anything, I would send people and they would come back with these horror stories. They'd come back with this, you know, the corruption that was going on. And I knew from that moment that I have to go visit these places. I have to do tours. I have to meet the staff. I have to see what the program is. I couldn't have that on my shoulders anymore. So that's where we are today, right? And we can do this show. You guys invited me. We got a show on Marty Norman Live at Monday Motivation that's growing like crazy, and people are loving it. And I have the greatest job on the planet. I get to help people who suffer from the same disease that I do. How could it get any better than that, right? Yeah. You can't.
That's amazing. Your energy is amazing. Yeah. So we don't know each other. We haven't had a chance, but I'm pretty sure Mo, is he like the male version of me?
Yes.
I'm loud. Yes. I bring energy. Yeah. I say things I shouldn't, and I don't care. I have the confidence to back it. Like, you're great. I love it.
I am like the most inappropriate person you've ever met.
Yeah, definitely my kind of person, for sure. Yeah, it's been really awesome too. So when you were talking about when the lady had, came to you and was like, I want you to buy this house, I literally got goosebumps. Yeah. That is so cool. So is that the house that you're in right now?
Yeah, it's the Truman House. It's the recovery house that we own. My brother Brian is the assistant director. He's the founder. He's with me. Brian Kendrick, guys, look him up. Anyway.
Hey, Brian.
He's gonna be on the show, I hope.
Yeah, we're gonna get you on in August, Brian.
Yes, in August, guys. Stay tuned. But yeah, the Truman House. We walked in this house and it was completely bare. I don't have no money. I'm working at a factory. I was a maintenance mechanic at a factory. Barely making any money. And then we come into this house and you felt it. You knew that this was what's up. There was an energy to the house, and we knew it was God. We knew it was whatever your higher power. I just knew it was right. And we decided we kind of go with the motto: if you build it, they will come. And it just snowballed from there. It really did, and it's beautiful, man. The ripple effects of this house are unimaginable, even to me.
That's amazing.
I feel like in my experience, I've had experiences with being in sober houses, and I've had lots of experience with running sober houses too. And when you get that strong community of individuals, there is nothing more comforting than to like go in that house with all of them and like they're all doing the deal and all of their souls are on fire and you can feel their energy and they're feeding off your energy and you're like, this is a gift.
Yes.
This is such a gift.
In the minute, there's times in the past that I forgot that, I get so caught up on the grind, and I forget. It just takes one of these guys to slap me in the face with a reality. I'm just like, man, yes.
Always God. It's always God, right? Yeah, God's always humbling me like that too. Or I'm too busy to do this, or too busy to do something, or no, and I'm like distracted with this over here, and then God's like, hello, right here.
Like knocks you down 10 steps a little bit just to like remember where you came from.
Totally good.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So, go ahead. Go for it.
You know.
So your brother's in recovery.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
We're not biological by any.
Oh, you lied to us again.
No, I mean, here, bring him in. Most people can't.
We're not. What is blood? Blood don't mean nothing. We're brothers. We say we're brothers. Go with it. Just go with it. Go with it.
All right, we're sold. We're sold.
Like, I had nothing. Growing up, I didn't have a family. You know what I mean? You can relay. I didn't have a family, so I created one, man. And that guy was in the midst of the chaos and the misery and the horrible crap that we used to do together. And, ultimately the lifestyle that we promoted was killing people. You know what I mean? People were dying. And then we full circle come back around to where we're at today. Like, I got him. I sent for him out of the streets of Chicago to come home. He basically detoxed in my one bedroom apartment that I had. And then, he went to a sober living, comes back to the house. And then that's when this happened. It was definitely God. You know what I mean? It definitely was.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
My what's that?
I said, yeah, baby.
My brother's in recovery too. So that's really awesome. My brother's 6 months sober now, and it's really cool to experience and share that with him. He lives in another state, but like we're still able to connect, and it's just like I thought my brother was gonna die of this thing. And so to have him like clean and sober and to have him doing everything he's doing and to have him share the same passion with wanting to help people, it's a really cool experience to have. Let me see your shirt.
Yeah.
Marty Norman Live, Outside Issues. All right, cool.
What?
Where do we get them?
All right, you can order these shirts, guys. You can find me on Facebook, guys, at Marty Norman Live, or you can find me on my personal page. The Marty Norman Live is the page where we're going live from. It is the, what do you want to call it, follower page, fan page, live page, whatever, business page. I don't care what you call it. I reached 5,000 friends on my personal page, so I had to start a business page. So
Mr. Popular.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we're doing it, man. We're making it happen, and this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
We do have multiple colors.
We got
Do you hold on? Are they all just men's? What about the ladies?
By the way,
look what you can do.
Oh my God. I'm speechless, and that never happens. I'm speechless.
Listen, these shirts are so amazing. Like I spent the extra money to buy the good quality shirts, the good blend. So I spent the extra money. So because I've been to many events and things like that, and I would go buy these $20 shirts, and I would never wear them again. It didn't fit right. You know what I mean? So these ones really fit right. They're slim. They fit 65% polyester, 35% cotton. They feel good. They make you feel good. You know what I mean? I want a shirt that makes me feel good.
Whatever gets you by until you can know it and believe it, right? If it's the damn shirt, it's the shirt. Hey, Cindy Loomer gives us a shout out. She says loves and supports. So hi, Cindy. So Marty, we're almost out of time. What happened here? It's like I know, I agree. We're gonna have to get you back on in like 40 seconds. Okay. Someone that's watching right now that's like suffering or doesn't know that there's hope, what do you got to say to them in like 40 seconds? Go.
I've been you. There is hope. Recovery is possible. Listen to me, guys. As an outreach coordinator, I can help you get into a detox. I can help you get into a treatment center. I can just be an ear. If you are willing to do what it takes to go get help, to live this life that we are living, I'm just a hope shot. That's all I am. I've been you. I've been in the streets. I've been homeless. I've done bad things for my next high. You don't have to live that way anymore. All you got to do is right there. It says MartyNormanLive.com. Or you can call me at 765-365-4924. That's my personal cell phone.
I feel like that's so dangerous.
He doesn't care.
I live in the ghetto. I mean, how much more dangerous can it get? Call me. Don't ever come by here. But you can call me.
All right. It's been a blast having you. What's the weather like there?
Right now, it's beautiful out, man. It's beautiful. It's, like 90 degrees or something? I don't know. 85 maybe?
It's about the same here. Well, we got about 40 seconds left.
It's on the temperature gauge. It goes from 75 hot.
All right. Marty, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Maureen, thank you
so much.
Thank you for joining us too. Everyone at home that tuned in or anyone that's watching this, thank you guys. There is a message of hope here. Anyone that's struggling, reach out to anyone here. Reach out to anyone. Never give up. There's
right down there.
Just reach out. You're loved. You are worthy. We're going to get Marty back. We're going to get his brother Brian on in August. Marty will be coming on again soon after that. It's been fun and it's been real. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.